The movie begins with a group of pirates relaxing and having fun after finishing one of their missions. One of the pirates wanders through the forest for a pee and ends up in a cave. When he gets inside to check it out, the ground starts shifting and creating a hole, where he gets pulled in. He screams as he tries to get out, but he disappears underground. Meanwhile, Warren Price, a millionaire, together with his girlfriend, Sue Ling, Japanese scientist Rian Stanley, a former military engineer turned mercenary attached to the unit escorting them, are exploring a former Japanese machine gun nest of World War II on the island of Una Una, Gulf of Tamini. A team of mercenaries headed by Captain Tino Prawa, together with Joko, Ario, and Sergeant Papa Snake. When Tino calls for the attention of Stanley, he notices him staring off into the distance, so he asks him if he found something. Suddenly, they hear a scream from the inside, and they immediately point their guns to find out Papa fooling around with the skull he found inside the nest. After that, Tycoon gets mad at Tino, telling her that his commander assured him his men are professionals and asking him if he can keep them on a tighter leash. Tino tells Papa to stop making jokes. Then, Warren and Ree get inside the nest. Ree examines the skull inside while Warren plays around with the old equipment. While the others are waiting outside, Stanley asks Tino if he knows what Warren is looking for, and Tino says that he has no idea and doesn't care to find out. Stanley then tells him that he wants to learn the basics of a job and says he is yet to see something solid but feels like someone's following them, as there is a lot of pirate activity around those islands. But Tino assures him that it's nothing they can't handle. A few moments later, the group continues their trail in the forest until they reach the entrance of a dead mine that used to be operated by the Dutch. Stanley says these deadly mines are all over the island that the Dutch abandoned when the Japanese occupied them in 1942. Warren tells him that that one is repurposed. He says that when the Japanese invaded, they took some of those mines and reinforced them for military bunkers. Stanley then asks if that is what they have come to find, and he says that is it. When Warren asks if it is safe to get in, Stanley tells them there are signs of recent seismic activities. He needs to check it out as the whole place could be unstable, which will take him a couple of hours at least. While checking the place, he sees Ree looking at her camera. He asks her how she got hooked up with Warren because she seems intelligent and severe, unlike Warren. She says that she came there for her research. He asks him what kind of research, and she explains that she wants to know more about the Second World War, specifically how men could do the things they did. He tells her that it's easy to explain how soldiers think and explains that to make a soldier, take a human being and re-engineer him, break him down to the essence of what he's made of, then build him back again, except this time, leaving something different at heart, telling him that it's okay to kill a man. While waiting outside, a group of pirates fires at them. They then run towards the bunker, where they become trapped after one of the pirates tosses a grenade into the mine entrance. When everyone regains consciousness, they find Ario severely injured, and the mine entrance has collapsed, blocking their exit. Stanley calls Tino's attention, who is still in shock. He informs him that they are not getting back out that way and that their only option is to try moving deeper inside and hope there's another way out. When Tino asks for communication, they find out that there is none. Stanley then asks Tino if they are pirates, and Tino says that they could or could also be people looking for what Warren is looking for. They then confront Warren, to which he says that whoever is out there is no way they could know about that place, and he is sure about it. Stanley annoyingly demands that he tell them what they are looking for down there since there's no one to listen to them. Warren confesses that about a year ago, one of Precor's exploration teams discovered an Imperial Army bunker on an island near Sumatra. In that bunker, a collection of papers, movement orders, and delivery schedules were written down in code. He says they have been working with Ree to decode those papers, and are finding lettuce there. Tino asks what's down there. Warren says that General Yamashita of the Japanese army ordered his troops to loot treasure from Southeast Asia during the war. The treasure was believed to be buried somewhere in the Philippines for many years. Still, they think there's some in that particular dead mine. Before Stanley and Warren get their argument heated up, Tino says that no matter what they believe, whether there is gold or none, they still have to find another way out and suggests they start moving. The group immediately travels deeper, with Tino leading them. They then come across a bridge. When they cross it, the lights suddenly turn on with a war propaganda song saying "Wipe out Americans" and Britons blaring from the speakers around them. They then need clarification about how the lights and speakers are turned on since they assume the mine was abandoned long ago. Warren says that it might be due to the damage to the mines that triggered the generator and points out that there is no way someone else is in there since the entrance was untouched. Stanley then says another entrance might be good for them because it means there's another way out. Suddenly, the lights turn off again, and Sue Ling asks who it is, and Stanley says it's probably the same bastards trying to shoot them. Tino tells them to keep their eyes open, watch the step, and continue walking. After a while, They come across a room filled with bottles, and when Tino sees the hazmat suits, he shoots them in shock. They also find shelves and disturbing old images. Then Tino calls a communication center while Ree approaches one of the maps tacked on the wall, and Warren walks up to her. As they continue their walk, they arrive at another room. Then, a man wearing a gas mask stands behind Papa, observing him. By the time Papa turns around, the man is already gone. On the other hand, Ree sees another map and says that those are Imperial Army positions from 1945 and shows them the marking for the bunker referring to the 25th Area Army, which Warren believes confirms that this is one of Yamashita's hideouts. Stanley then tells Warren that there is something he's not telling them because something about that place doesn't feel right. It isn't just a standard bunker, the photos they found were not just personnel files but medical ones. Ree then speaks, saying that they need to know everything. She says that according to their information, the bunker was an operating center for a satellite division of Unit 731. This secret medical research unit specialized in developing biological and chemical warfare through lethal human experimentation, which made the group upset. But Su Ling says it doesn't matter since everyone was paid to do their job. However, Tino tells her they should have told them so they could have prepared, but Warren says that he wasn't planning to get trapped there and thought there'd be more time. Joko asks about the connection between Unit 731 and the gold because he believes that Unit 731 was just a cover-up to keep everyone away. After a little fistfight between Warren and Stanley, they continue to find a way out. As they go deeper into the tunnel, they come across a bunker, where Tino decides that he and Papa will look for another way out while the rest of them stay there so that Aryo can rest. However, Warren insists that he and Su Ling will accompany them because he pays for the mission. But Tino tells him that he doesn't care about his money and gold and only cares about getting them out of there alive. The three stay behind to keep Aryo a company. Ree asks Stanley why he gave up the military. He says he had a night out the last time he returned from Afghanistan. A guy bumped into him on the way to the bar and didn't say sorry, so he said a few words, and the guy called him a few names and smashed a bottle over his head. At the same time, Tino's group comes across another room containing cages. Warren finds a helmet issued by the Australian government, learning that those in the room are prisoners of war. Tino comments that it must mean they are for whatever experiments the Japanese military conducted, but Warren denies it. On the other hand, Stanley asks Ree if Unit 731 is why she's there, which she acknowledges. Later, while resting, Aryo hears a scraping, and when he sits up to look down, he sees the ground shifting. Suddenly, hands grab him by his legs and pull him into the hole. The three catch a glimpse of an unknown creature, who runs away at the sight of them. Stanley demands that Ree tell them what that is, but she swears she doesn't know. Joko jumps into the hole to follow Aryo, and with no other choice, Stanley tells Ree to wait there as he will follow, but Ree insists that she's coming with them. Later, Stanley and Ree find Aryo's body with his throat slit and eyes unseeing. Stanley tells her he's gone and knows it's hard, but they can't stay there and must move. Conversely, Tino's group comes across another room where they see more about their experiments. Distracted by what they are seeing, they don't notice that the door gets closed. At the same time, Joko, still searching for Aryo, comes across the creature and kills it. But when he goes to see it closer, another creature comes from behind him and fights him. After that, he sees many creatures ready to attack and kill him. Back in Tino's group, they hear Joko screaming and immediately try to find the door locked. In the meantime, Stanley wakes up as he hears the war song playing again and someone speaking Japanese. When he looks up, he sees the man wearing a gas mask, who stops him from moving and brandishes a small sword at him. The man speaks to Ree, and she tells Stanley that they are now prisoners of the Japanese Imperial Army. She explains that the gas masked man thinks they're allied enemies. She tells him the war is over, but the man doesn't believe her. Suddenly, Stanley attacks the man, and before he can do further damage, she tells him to stop, and Stanley removes the mask and finds an ashen old face. Ree then tries to explain again that the war is over and shows her old footage of the final Japanese surrender in 1945. The man freaks out and kneels in front of a body covered by the Japanese flag. Meanwhile, while Tino's group is looking for a way out, Warren gets attacked by the creature by stabbing him on his left shoulder with a bone. Tino tries to shoot the beast but doesn't kill him. Instead, the creature attacks him, causing Papa to shoot at it. Because they can't kill the creature, Papa grabs one of the broken off metal shelves and stab it on its side, finally killing it. Back with Stanley and Ree, they find out that the man was one of the two tasked to guard the mines for years. When the Japanese army left in 1945, they got sealed in. The man's companion wanted to surrender, so they fought, leading him to kill his companion. The man told them that the creatures were prisoners of war. He also says many like him were injected to keep them young and strong. Unfortunately, it was just another failed experiment. When Stanley tells him he's the last of it, the man reveals that the formula is perfected and given to the best of the best, the Imperial Guards. Back with Tino and his group, he calls Warren to show a tattoo on the creature's head written in Japanese. Warren says it means Australian, 24 years, confirming that the creature is a prisoner of war. When Tino asks about it, he admits that he doesn't know about it but says it is what Unit 731 is about. Then, Tino decides to keep searching the area where they are. They find a dried up and mangled body in the middle of an experiment. Warren comes across a syringe filled with liquid and flecks of gold, which he believes is what the Japanese military has been using for their experiments, and that's what they have been hiding there. He gets upset when he learns it's the last of it. On the other hand, Stanley and Ree leave and look for the other. Then, they ask the man if there's another way out of the bunker, to which he says that he has to show them where it is. Despite them not trusting him, they still decide to go with it. While Tino and Papa are trying to open the door, Warren explains to Su Ling that they had the gold in that syringe because it is believed to be the ancient elixir of life and the basis of alchemy, that they could have found a way of using it. Desperate to avoid leaving with nothing, he and Su Ling try to sneak a sample out, as the formulas can be sold for vast amounts of money as biological weapons in the black market. When Tino and Papa open the door, they discover a shrine filled with dozens of creatures dressed in samurai suits of armor, which seem to be the experimented Imperial Guards, who suddenly come to life. Papa stays behind and tries to hold the guards off, being stabbed repeatedly and getting killed. While the three continue to flee, they come across the chamber where Joko was killed and see his corpse. Then, they got attacked by the creatures, and they improvise knives to fight them. After that, they run again and reunite with Stanley and Ree. With Price badly wounded and desperate to save him, Su Ling injects him with a formula. On the other hand, the guards storm through the tunnels, executing the gas-masked man as the rest of the group flees. Later, they got ambushed again by the guards. Although they managed to kill several, Su Ling abandons them, dragging Price through a doorway and locking it behind her. Tino makes a heroic last stand to allow Ree and Stanley to escape but eventually gets killed. Su Ling drags Warren to the edge of the cave, but he has been driven insane by the formula and promptly kills her. On the other hand, Ree and Stanley flee the mine through an underwater tunnel system. Still, the guards are hot in pursuit, leaving Ree to be the only one to escape from the tunnels. Ree attempts to defend herself as more guards emerge from the lake, but it's useless. The movie ends as one of the guards executes Ree by stabbing her in the stomach with his sword. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this to help the channel out. Have a nice day.